early on, I was really hesitant about doing what I was doing because I was like, gosh, I'm not a startup founder. I'm older. I had all these excuses, and someone said to me, just stop leaning into that. Lean into what you enjoy doing.
So welcome to the Texas Embassy podcast. Please, I think I don't know if I asked you or we started using it afterwards, but if you were to get or be asked to give yourself a call sign, a nickname of sorts, right? In the military, at least in the aviation community, like Maverick, everybody knows Maverick and Top Gun, or Goose and Top Gun. And so I think it was after we met with you, I asked everybody, and it was really kind of very unique. So this is a good reason for you to come back, because if you had to give yourself a call sign, what would it be?
Okay, two pop in my mind.
Okay.
And I'll explain both of them.
And normally you don't get to choose, right? In the military community, we choose for you, right?
Okay, you can choose. I'll give you the two and you can tell me one.
All right,
how about that? So I was asked what I should be for the grand dogs and if I had grandkids later. Mm-hmm. I said fun master. And it's because I can be fun, but I also am very regimented. And I think there's a time for both. In the startup ecosystem, I've been called Startup Mama.
Yeah.
And I like that from the perspective of I cheer loudly, I serve, I love those that I serve, and I also am very much about being that fierce protector of the startup founders. Like, I want you to be seen, celebrated, and cheered on. So
you are. I think that's the one I was hoping you would naturally tell everybody, because you are the startup mama, and it's proven out. I think it's proven out for, whether it be on social media, just the people that you connect in, the authenticity of that. You nailed it. I think that's what you're known for, which is perfect because you didn't pick it. They picked it for you.
It was picked for me. Now, the reason I was hesitant about that was because I was having a conversation this week with somebody, and they're like, I don't like it when you lead with that. And I'm like, why? And she had a great point, because sometimes when you think of moms is super sacrificial, and I have been sacrificial, but I think that there's a balance with that sacrificial giving.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let me think about that from that perspective, because you want to be sacrificial. I'm more of a servant leader.
100%.
Yeah. And that I want to be known for, but like being sacrificial at the cost of my own well-being, mm-hmm. I don't want to do that. So I think that was the balance that she was trying to make. And
that's true, right? Yeah. At what level of sacrifice do you make? I think you have struck a great balance. Seeing you are genuine in if there's any stress level, it's
I have a lot of stress.
But it's an optimal stress level that says, hey, I want to be able to provide. And I've even known you where you said to me, I think I need a little bit of a break, right? Yeah. You know thyself, to say, in order to be able to give to others, I need to take care of myself in that way. And so you do know your own self to balance that out.
Yeah.
So for the audience, tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Cherie Werner, and I am, let's see, about myself. Okay. It's like, do I lead with what I do, or do I
anything, right? That's why I asked that. It's so open-ended. It's just so like you could take it anywhere.
Yeah. Really hard. But I would say in who I am, I mean, I actually chose what I'm doing. And I mean, we're in the month of November, so much gratitude for what I get to do. I mean, because I get to, and it's being a servant leader to the startup founders in the Austin ecosystem. I think at the core, so often you lead with something that you maybe didn't have yourself growing up. And so belonging has always been like a real core value for me. I sought those places of belonging early in life. And maybe when you don't have it, you create that for others. And I think that that's part of why I really want people to know they are seen when they come into a Fiesta event and they belong. And because, being a human and a startup founder, it can be lonely. And I would hate to not see somebody and see that loneliness in them and be the person to offer encouragement and or, hey, I see you. What's going on?
Yeah, it is. It's lonely. Tell us about like where you're from. Like, did you grow up in Texas originally? I mean, you're here now.
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to go back.
No, there's not. No, there's not. One or 2 years.
I don't act like it. I actually was born in Amarillo, Texas. My dad was military, and I think Texas has always been near and dear to my heart. I just remember thinking I'm gonna live in Texas. But I grew up in Louisiana. We kind of moved all over early on because dad military.
Yeah.
You know how that
Yeah,
goes.
right.
So Germany, and then grew up in Opelousas, Louisiana. So I'm a Cajun, and I love Cajun food. And John and I met in college in Louisiana, and we kind of fell in love. You didn't have to go through all the swiping and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. It's a different world for us, right?
Actually, my version of swiping would be looking at the fraternity portrait and him saying, "So, who are you interested in?" And I came to him and I'm like, "Swipe right."
Ah, that's
he's
cool.
He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, and we've been married 40 years now. And I just made
Wow, that's a podcast in itself. Congratulations!
Thank you. He's my best
that's
friend.
amazing. He is. You're not just saying that. I have seen that.
He is. But I just made him promise me that if we got married, we'd move out of Louisiana. And so we lived in Virginia for 7 years, and that's where our 2 first daughters were born. And then 10 years later, we had our 3rd daughter, who was born here in Austin. So I have a Texan, and I made it back to Texas and have been here now almost 35 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, we've seen Austin change a lot. Oh my gosh, so much changes. I mean, 183 used to be a country road going out.
You're seeing a lot of memes of where they show the original picture and then where Austin looks like now.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I love that you have, one of the things being from a military family myself, and then actually me jumping into that profession is you gain perspective.
Oh yeah.
Of other states, cultures and subcultures, and that you've been in Germany, so now international. What have you seen that makes Texas very unique, or even Austin unique with that perspective?
I remember leaving Louisiana, and John and I moved to Virginia right out of college. And one of the things that I didn't realize, like talking about perspective, was I was brought up in the South, and I didn't realize how prejudiced I was until I got up more towards the North.
Wow.
And I mean, like, it opened my eyes to like looking at humans just as being humans, not based off of color or, background and things like that. So I'm so grateful for that experience. And then I think, when we came back to Texas, the one thing I would say about the South is, I mean, there's a thing called Southern hospitality. And I think Austin is so unique in, when I ask people at Fiesta, who is making Austin home, and those that have been here for 1 year or less, I'm like, you're going to love it here. I mean, you really do. I mean, Austin is just such a friendly, giving, open-hearted ecosystem, and you're not going to find that in many places. I mean, I've known people who have moved here simply because they experienced that, at an event or something of that sort.
Yeah, I think that's if there's one thing we, should hold on to, it's that here in the Austin ecosystem. Everybody, Texas has its own qualities and depending upon what city you're going to. But I think that that's really, really unique to Austin
Yeah.
is that almost true Southern hospitality. I've lived in Charleston, which is known for that
Yeah.
Southern hospitality. And that's why I love Austin. And that was really the warmth of the reception. And I came here during COVID, but my folks have been here. And so I was always here during that time. And so I know that warmth to be here when it's activated, right?
Yeah.
Post. And it's very much followed through when we came out of COVID.
Exactly.
So look, you're the startup mama, but it's also because of the platform that you have created. And that is super unique. You have grown a platform that has drawn international intrigue in that way. Tell everybody what that platform is.
Yeah. So, I mean, after COVID, well, actually during COVID, I kept meeting so many people that were moving to Austin. And as soon as, I mean, we would invite people into our home. So, like, I lead with hospitality. I love entertaining in my home. But it's not practical when you're getting over 12, 14 folks. And so
it turns into a different party, right?
Exactly. And it was really cute last night. Someone said, "Oh yeah, I met you at your home when you did an event there, and there's like over 40 women, and that was for the women's event." But the thing that I love doing is bringing people together and seeing the magic that happens when they meet each other and they're able to help each other, and you get to be part of it because you can make the connections. But the organization is called FIESTA, and we started in July of 2021 as a way to give back. And it stands for Founders, Investors, Entrepreneurs, Startups, Techies, and Austin Newcomers / Adventurers, because we do want to go global because of the internationals coming through, for them to have something that we can maybe offer that's just like long term. But each year that we've done Fiesta, I was like, okay, what can we add this year? And so I think we've added the Found Hers, which we meet on the first Tuesday of the month, and that's our women's group. And we're typically drawing about 50 to 75 women for that. And then we've started the Found Hers newsletter called the Found Her Herald. That goes out on the Friday after we meet.
Wow.
And what's unique about that newsletter and why we started it was because in our founders groups, we break into small groups of 7 or less so that the women can kind of get to know one another. And they're all asked 3 questions, but the last question is always, what's your greatest need and how can we help?
Right.
And that's what we share in the newsletter, those ask. And people read it. I mean, that newsletter has a 74% open rate with like a 12% click rate on the ask, people looking and seeing that. And I had one of my favorite stories is one of the founders, she's like, "Hey, I'm a new founder and I would love for someone to look over my pitch deck." And one of the women founders over at Silverton, Addie, read it and reached out to her, had coffee, and said, "Hey, I really like what you're working on. I think you should apply to this accelerator up in New York." The gal did, got in, was there for 6 months, completed the program, and then raised $1.5 million.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, great story. Then the Fiesta, we have a newsletter for that, and it's called the Fiesta Focus. And that goes out on the Tuesday before a Fiesta event and the Tuesday after. And then our special edition we just started this year is the Founders Friday. So founders come to Fiesta, and we give them an opportunity to pitch every 6 months. It's a 1-minute pitch. It's timed. It's very organized. And they do their pitch. That's just the beginning. On Friday, we share their founder stories in the newsletter, Founder Friday. And to me, what I'm doing is I'm helping founders to be seen in the ecosystem. That newsletter, we have about a 45 to 50% open rate. And, founders have told me that people have reached out on LinkedIn. We make it easy. All you got to do is click their name. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to.
And you're a founder in itself, so you can empathize, I think, right?
Yeah.
Just this forum, since you started in 2021, so it's relatively new.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it is the most consistent meetup in Austin, period.
Yeah.
I've seen maximum participation in there. You're right. It's open to almost anybody, no matter what it is. Adventures. I love that last part, because you're on an adventure. You're exploring it, whether you just are here to meet folks in Austin. It's a great meetup. You've even had people there with suitcases that have just come in, just landed from the airplane, and they knew to make that kind of event. So I want everybody to really know that it is the most consistent event, that it is here, but you've taken it even bigger, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us how that evolved, where you were approached and said, hey, can we take this model elsewhere? Number one, I love that you were receptive to that.
At first, I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Are you serious?
Yeah.
But how did that all come about?
Well, I mean, very much, again, like we were talking at the beginning, I mean, we're a very friendly city and ecosystem, and FIESTA definitely carries that DNA. And Taha is his name. He came to a FIESTA event, I want to say like in October 2 years ago, maybe 3. And he fell in love with Austin. He ended up buying a house here. And he would come back. And he's actually from Pakistan. He has a home in Maryland. And so anyway, when he was here in Austin, I mean, we would meet and talk. And he's like, I want to bring this back to Pakistan. And I'm like, yeah. Right. Okay. And so
things people say, right? They're not.
Well, it was really funny because he was like come with me to Pakistan. This it was like in 3 months, and I'm like, I don't move that fast. I move fast, but not that fast. And so it took about another year and a half, and he offered us this opportunity to go on a. It was like a educational delegation.
Yeah, trade mission of sorts.
Exactly.
Right.
And so we said yes, and we were going with other people from Austin, so it felt comfortable.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
You weren't on your own with this guy you just met 2 months ago.
Exactly.
Right.
But we went, and he actually organized the whole event in Karachi, and I think we ended up having, I want to say 15 founders that ended up pitching. And I mean, but we upgraded from pizza to like this huge sushi table.
Wait, you did a fiesta there?
In Pakistan.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So what I
So
really
you deployed this system and that's
exactly.
amazing. Cool.
And he did like everything that we typically did at a fiesta, he did there. And but I realized that founders are founders no matter where they are. I mean, they're innovative. I mean, the things that they were trying to solve and do in Pakistan were amazing, just like what founders are doing here. We all have our own problems and issues that we're trying to solve, and it's just fun to see the creativity that people have.
What have you seen as far as patterns, right? You've been at this intersection of, one, you're in one of the hottest cities in the world right now. And if people don't know, they quickly are going to find that out. Yeah. Or there's this level of intrigue of what's going on there. I mean, we've hosted Germans that prototypically think that, like Mark, right? That's all I think about. And where's your horse, Mark? You know what I mean? And what do you mean you're in this business? So I meet their perception right out of the gate. But you see these folks coming in. What are they looking for in Texas that makes it intriguing? Or what are the industries that you're seeing? Like patterns. What patterns are you picking up on? Because you are at the forefront to be able to analyze that.
Well, I think when we first started Bitcoin, everything was Bitcoin for the longest. And now everything is AI. I mean, everybody has some sort of AI type of company.
Right.
And which, I mean, it's made me like take an interest in saying, okay, how is AI going to impact what I'm doing, and how much do I need to understand to stay relevant? I mean, those are the two biggest trends that I have seen. We actually had Fiesta last night, and we had 240 folks show up.
Oh my gosh.
And I was looking at the AI was the largest percentage. Fintech is still really a big sector that we represent. That's the other thing about what we're doing is that we encourage all sectors to participate. We're not just focused on one industry.
Right.
We want all the industries. And then if you end up at a FIESTA, we're encouraging folks to go to the various what I call spokes. So like you would be a spoke for internationals. And if there was a company who was AI focused, we would encourage them to go to the various AI events happening and meet the AI folks that
the community.
Exactly, because those are going to be their tribes that are going to help them thrive. And it's not about FIESTA, it's about your journey and you finding what you need.
It's a welcome reception and to really make sure that the warmth of Texas followed through it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, because we're so agnostic in what we do, we just see kind of like a hodgepodge of everything. But AI is the most popular right now, obviously.
Are you seeing like just the demographics itself? Like, is there one country that you're seeing consistently? Is there an age, or is there
There's not
female? Like, it's just what's the sample size?
I collect so much data, so I do have all this data. I could go back and
no,
actually.
I'm just it's what pops off in your head. It's not where.
But what I love about what we do is that there's so many women that show up. A lot of networking events. It's so male dominated, which is why we began the founders group. But the FIESTA itself, I would say, is 40-60, which is pretty great for a tech networking event. The other thing is country-wise, we always ask, who's visiting, and I think we had probably, I want to say 7 different countries represented last night.
Wow.
So probably 16 people from different countries. There's Germany, Poland, there were several Asian countries there. It's always, every month we have internationals that are coming through, which is why I also use the adventurers, is because you have people floating through the ecosystem, because Austin has been kind of dubbed the Silicon Valley of the South.
Yeah.
So people are always curious. I often find out people are coming to the U.S. and they're checking out San Francisco and Austin, and sometimes Chicago or New York are the other 2 places, and I always say, you'll be back, and 9 times out of 10, I'm right. They're back.
Yeah.
Now the funding's not here. Like it should be.
I say I can't disagree with that statement, right? I will tell you that the data shows and supports, but what I will tell folks is that, you can go elsewhere to find capital, right? And you should.
And they are.
And if you want smart money and you get somebody in Texas to write you a check, wow.
Yeah.
Like that's a big win in itself, because and not that it's not smart, but I think, the industry here in Texas, we've seen the highs and the lows, right? Yeah. And so we're going to ask a little bit more defined questions. Not that we aren't risk takers, but we're probably more calculated of the risk. And probably has to do with the oil industry, right? There's highs and lows to that. So
I haven't figured that out myself. I just know, for a lot of the founders that are doing well, that have pitched at FIESTA, funding has come outside of Texas.
Right.
So which is fine. They've built their company here. They started it here.
That's what right. Exactly. So I tell everybody the same thing. I said, you landing in here in Texas, there's going to be one part of you to stay here in Texas. Usually that is the company headquarters or predominance of that. How can you replicate this? Like, are you looking to scale this? You've taken it internationally, but I'm sure you've gotten demand to say, hey, bring this to Dallas, bring this to Houston.
We have. It's really going to take, I'm so relational and heart driven. It's going to take the right person coming on that would be more of the CEO, to drive it out of Austin. We have been asked for Dallas, and we're looking in that direction. So if the right scenario comes across our path, I mean, we would definitely take it. Right now, my main goal is to bring on a volunteer leadership team. We haven't figured out quite how to monetize what we're doing. The women's events we do charge for because we're in a location that I'm able to. With our big events, I'm not able to charge because they give us a venue for free. So as a catch-22, venues here in Austin are, I mean, they're expensive. I mean, $500-700 an hour.
Yeah.
And, we provide pizza and drinks and stuff like that. Hospitality, you got to feed them. I don't know if you have to, but it is nice.
It's the warmth of coming into my house, right?
Exactly.
To your point, right? It's
exactly.
You want that. And we go above and beyond. Right?
Exactly. So anyway, but yeah, no, I would like by next year to have one location outside of Austin that is being run by somebody else. Like maybe like a licensing model. We have all the SOPs and things in place to make it easy, but I think what's going to differentiate us is the event magic that we use, which is a check-in system that at the event allows you to network but yet connect with people by scanning the QR code on the name tag. And why I say I think that is going to differentiate and make it more valuable is that when you as a host, you can ask questions that you are looking to understand about your demographic of the people that you're serving. So, and then as a sponsor, the sponsors are able to see who actually shows up at an event.
Now, you capture that data. You think you have like even a proprietary way at which you guys do that, which is very unique. Who shows up typically at Fiesta? Is it just entrepreneurs, or just it's that check mark of all of those people that make up the acronym?
Right. I mean, we had I just did the breakdown of the data this morning. So I think there was 136 founders that showed up, and then we had like 20 investors or funders. People looking for a job. We have folks that are just kind of floating through the ecosystem. But I mean, the majority is founders. So close to more than 50%. Then you obviously have service providers that are there.
And the service providers are very selective of how they do that, right? I don't know if you want to talk about the format. I think you have a very unique format to kind of make sure that the quality of the conversation is there. It's not really predatory in that manner.
Yeah. When that number starts going up, we start reevaluating because we definitely want to be founder focused on everything that we do, because it's about the founder. But I think because our events 5:30 to 8:30, from 5:30 to 6:35 is networking. People come in, they're getting pizza, they're talking. And then after that, about 6:40, I go on, I welcome people, kind of do my little spiel. And John and
go into mama mode?
Yeah. John and I do it together now. So we kind of banter with one another, which has been a lot of fun. And then after that, we are bringing on, so I've started bringing on folks who have had, when you network, there's opportunities that happen with connection, but you have to follow through. So like I had a gal who pitched last month. She's like, I did such a horrible job. I'm like, no, you did a great job. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. But then she told me that she ended up getting her marketing person. Someone came up to her and said, I like what you're working on. I do marketing. Can we work together? And she hired him. And then 3 months before that, she met somebody who was visiting from Africa, and she has a financial game, and he was doing something with financial stuff there, and they have collaborated, and they're putting together like a nonprofit in Africa together as a result of meeting at Fiesta. So I'm trying to tell more of those impact stories because I hear about them, as I'm out talking to somebody. I'm like, can I share that? Because it's amazing. I mean, like, I get to be part of these little
that
magical
fills your
moments.
cup,
Oh,
right?
it totally fills my cup.
That's what gets me going. It's just the impact itself. I could live
Yeah.
on that all day long for a month. It
No,
charges the battery.
exactly. And then the other guy that shared yesterday, he was looking for an intern, and John turned around and said, "Well, you need to meet this guy." And he's been his intern now for 6 months, and he has him on his investment deck that he's sending out as part of his team. I mean, but it's free work, and he's like, he's better than somebody that I would pay for, which is amazing. So I'm trying to tell more of those stories at FIESTA. Then we bring on funders. So I had 3 funders yesterday who shared about their fund and what they're working on. I think Maincell, I don't know if you know Trey Eckhart, and Safe Water. So anyway, I mean, there's a lot of different, I mean, and I say funders in particular because it can be VCs, it can be anybody.
broader community.
Right. Because I want founders to understand there's so many different ways to bringing in money for their startup. It's not just, don't just go looking for the VC money.
Why downtown Austin? Like, why? One of the things that, not that I hear it a lot, but I don't really want to come downtown. And so what makes this place magical? In that, obviously, ease of access. It's easy to get to.
Yeah.
And you have definitely not had an issue with that. I mean,
No,
200 is kind of that
No.
consistency.
Yeah.
But what makes it easy? Like, when people start thinking, oh, it's downtown, I'm really trying to tell them, no, it's not an issue.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been thinking about that myself recently, but I think that there's this, founders tend to be downtown, number one. And then I think for FIESTA in particular, because people know that founders are going to be there, if you're a service provider, it's really one of the best events to go to. I mean, because you don't know who you're going to meet. And, I have founders that are just getting started, and I've had founders that have over 100 in ARR. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to pitch any month. I mean, every 6 months. And then what's really been interesting is the last 3 months, we have been oversubscribed, meaning we have more than 12 people signing up. I think in October we had 23 sign up. So we had to push a lot of them to November. So November was full, and we're already full in January. So now we're telling founders, if you want to pitch, you need to sign up early to pick your two months every 6 months. And I think we're going to start changing the format. We might start charging a nominal fee, only because we've had some founders that day of they back out, and that it's not fair for those that we've had to say no to. So, I mean, unfortunately, bad characters make you reevaluate how you do things, and it's like, okay, well, if you're going to back out, I'm going to bring in $40 at least that can, maybe whatever. So.
But it's funny you mentioned that. I remember that one story in the same ecosystem that you're having, that where they had the same issue, and they used to do these bus trips around Texas. And what they would do is they would charge people. Maybe this is a good takeaway. But they would charge them, and then when the people showed up on the bus, they would return that money.
Oh yeah.
And so it was
100%.
it was not like a penalty of sorts, but you made it. You followed through. So here we're going to help you, or give back a percentage of that. Say, hey, thank you. We're not here to monetize just that function, but hey, this is a risk in itself.
Yeah. Well, and as a pitch presenter at FIESTA, not only do you get on stage in front of over 200 people, and it's very consistent for everybody, so nobody is outshining anybody. Then we have your video from the event, because I pay a photographer and a videographer, and you have photos from the pitch event, so you can use those on your socials.
Yeah.
And before you pitch, the week before, I had Darren and Jess step up and say, hey, we would like to equip the pitch presenters. We'll do a workshop with them. And so they meet with the pitch presenters for an hour and a half before they ever get on stage. So they're getting pitch coaching for free. And I think we'd like to add a little bit more, like at some point, if we could bring in maybe ecosystem builders that could give feedback on the pitches or something down the road. But for now, I mean, it's a lot of value, I think.
Oh, It's hard to, without data, right? I mean, I just tell everybody, if you haven't been to Fiesta,
Yeah.
if you haven't met you or your teammate, you have to do it. If you're here in Austin, it's a missed opportunity, a significant miss.
Yeah.
And just for the serendipitous things that you don't know in meeting you
Exactly.
and coming to that event that may happen. And that's part of the magic, right?
Yeah. We had two gals that it was really cute. I have those people who are my hugest advocates, and she had a call with a gal who was coming in for the A&M game that was last week, and she was leaving on Sunday, and Melissa said, "Oh no, you guys have got to stay for Fiesta." And so the two sisters came into Austin on Monday, and they kind of explored because they're looking to move here to Austin, and they came to Fiesta last night, and they were like, it was amazing.
We get it, right?
It was worth staying the extra night and being able to explore Austin and kind of find out what's going on in the ecosystem.
Sure, see it activated in
Yeah.
a meaningful and authentic way.
Exactly.
How can people are going to hear this podcast? Hopefully, how can they help you?
Wow.
That's I think that's the magical question of what makes this a great community is that people will ask that and generally want to help out. How can people help you?
Well, so as you know, our events are free, and I would love to keep them free, so that requires sponsorships. I think being a sponsor is a great ROI. I mean, like, I really work hand in hand with our sponsors.
You do.
And finding out what their greatest need is and how we can provide that. The other thing is every year at the end of the year, we do a holiday party, and we do charge for that. So I encourage people, is us on December 16th. We have this incredible venue that they reached out to us. It's a new co-working social club here in Austin.
Oh, wow.
Over by ACC Highland called Jeopardy. And they've given us space for free, and they said, please charge. I mean, it'll be a win-win. But it's the perfect place. I mean, like, if I was to dream of a place that I would want to do a Fiesta, it would
change of location, maybe.
They
Spoiler alert!
They don't have a stage.
Look at your smile and your grin, like you're like, that's the spot.
It would be, except they have their members that will be there. So, like, I think it would be really hard to like 5:30 to 8:30 prime time for members to go work out and stuff. But for a holiday party, it's absolutely perfect. So I invite y'all, Q Branch, to come. I'm going to send out an email to all of the community leaders and just invite them and the founders. But, also I would say, and it's not just Fiesta, just in general, if you're part of a community, consider giving back.
Oh, big time.
Going and asking, how can I help? What can I do to offload? Because, just like founders are lonely and overworked, I mean, I think community builders. So I have a real heart for the folks that are doing these events and serving others. I think last night was one of those evenings where we only had a handful of volunteers show up. And so someone came up to me because I'm in the kitchen washing dishes, and I should be out,
sure,
mingling with people and talking to people. But you do what you got to do to keep the program going and stuff like that. And
very entrepreneurial.
It is.
You are
the
all the CEO, the head janitor, the reception desk greeter. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But I tell that.
But that you care. You can tell that authenticity is there.
And so I get it when, so to charge also has always been a really hard thing for me, because I know, how hard founders are grinding and working and trying to make ends meet. But on the other hand, I think that if you have benefited because of a connection made or someone that you met serendipitously at, our event, friendship that was made. I have so many people say, I met my best friend over at a Fiesta.
Wow.
Numerous times. I can't even tell you. I've lost count. But consider
that would be a KPI. I could see that on your website.
Wish.
Best friend. Ding, ding, ding.
I wish I could figure out how to
That's funny.
capture all that. So
I can see the stepbrothers. Did we just become best friends? And then bing, that's a ticker.
So here's the one. I can't think of many community leaders who can say they had an engagement or proposal done at their event. So yes, that happened in April, I think.
Nice. That's a high five moment.
So I had a couple that met there 2 years earlier, and he came to me and he had signed up to pitch, and he's like, "Can I, like, after I pitch, propose to my girlfriend we met here at Fiesta?"
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, "Yes, 100%." I mean, and so
That's
he was
super
the
cool.
last one to pitch, and after he did his pitch, and she was like so not even prepared. Thankfully, she said yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's the gamble right there, right?
Exactly. So anyway, and they're really cute. So I see them every so often. But yeah, so I've had so many really cool things happen. But how can people help? I would just say, just give back. If you have benefited from something, give back. I mean, have that mentality. Also, RSVP for events. Don't just show up. I have 60-something% that show up every month that don't RSVP.
That's a good thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
No, I know.
Right?
I'm not saying it's bad,
Yeah.
but it does help.
It does.
Especially for a free event,
Absolutely.
to know how much pizza to order or
yeah, 100%, yeah.
things like that, just in general. And I think that's just, common courtesy. I think some of the common courtesy
Yes.
things, the younger generation, they need to be reminded, like, hey,
I agree, but the drop-ins I think that's what makes it also special. That's what I loved about when you guys were growing. It's, hey, what are you doing tonight? You should come with me to a Fiesta event.
Things like that, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's something that's very unique to you guys, is that,
Yeah.
hey, you just landed. You need to go straight there right now.
Yeah.
In fact, I had an entrepreneur from Singapore stay an extra day because of how much we told them that he would gain from your event.
Yeah. Did you meet the guys who were doing the drones to get rid of the beetle infestation? Anyway, they were coming to the U.S. and they actually came to Austin to go to a Fiesta because they had heard about Fiesta before going to Colorado, where they were going to be part of this big conference. And
very
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I'm like, that is so cool.
So that they planned it.
Yeah, they
a
planned
Fiesta?
their trip to the U.S. and Fiesta was part of it. So yeah.
That's so amazing. Just the entrepreneurial journey that you've been on, what you're doing for others. I'm taken back that you're here in this podcast, right? Because when I first met you, you were doing this activation, and now I get to kind of message what you've done for everybody else to the degree we can with such a small community and growing community. It's very it's a proud moment for me to kind of have that and a platform to be able to tell everybody the magic that you've created and that I've seen and been demonstrated, and that you will continue to do that. And so this is my call to everybody that's listening: get behind what you're doing, because it's part of the magic of Austin and those folks coming in here.
Well, thanks. And I appreciate you, because when I was first starting, people say, how did you get started? It's like, you have to be consistent, number one, and you have to be doing it for the right reasons. And you were such an encourager. I still remember some of our early conversations, and I was inspired by you. And now look at what you're doing. So, I mean, you've moved on, and now you're helping entrepreneurs. So, and we get to collaborate. So.
That's the magic too. Yeah. It's like the power of two combined.
Yeah.
Giving back. It's a win-win-win-win-win, and that never stops.
Yeah. People say who they ask who your competition is. I'm like, I don't have any competition, because it's about everybody's journey and them finding what they need. And if I can help them find what they're looking for, that's the ultimate goal. So,
it's the quality too, I think, of the culture that you continually, and you're the keeper of that culture, right? I think that's why you're doing the dishes and you're doing this, and you don't want it to scale, because sometimes you lose that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you have other people come in and they have their own opinion about what you should be doing. It's like, wait, there's a reason I don't do that, So it's kind of like a give and take.
I think a good movie that it just depicts that is like the Ray Kroc movie. I forget the name of it. The McDonald's movie, the founder itself, right? Where he was franchising this, and the people that he was selling the franchise to were just businessmen, and they just changed the menu, and they really didn't care about the brand itself. And so he really said, maybe I'm selling it to the wrong folks. And he started to engage more of families, right? A husband and a wife that cared and would really lean into it as something that they could take care of and grow and foster. So that's something that I found in that movie that I was like, wow, not just the business model, but who's going to care for that business model.
I love that you say that, because the folks over at Jeopardy, they're a young couple. They've been married a year, and it was because they had traveled around and they realized, like, everything is so segmented. Why can't we put everything in one place? Because a lot of times after you exercise, I wouldn't know because I don't exercise.
Oh, I saw their podcast or something. They opened the door. It was like, hi, I'm this person. And there was a wife. I didn't know that they were married, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But now I know where you're going. That's super cool.
Right. And I think for John and I, because we're married and we're all about, creating a community and seeing people. So I think when you find people like that, that are doing something similar, it's like, that's so exciting. Yeah. So that's what I need to be looking for, probably.
I think so, right? We'll go watch the movie, right?
I am, 100%.
Just to kind of look at that.
Yeah.
So is there anything in this podcast that you want to convey or communicate to others to help reinforce the magic that you're creating?
Yeah, I think we all have that in us. So, I mean, if you're called to give back, go ahead. Don't let your age, don't let, your gender and things like that stop you. I mean, I think I know early on I was really hesitant about doing what I was doing, because I was like, gosh, I'm not a startup founder. I'm older. I had all these excuses, and someone said to me, just stop leaning into that. Lean into what you enjoy doing. And the fact that I love what I do makes it easy to get up in the morning and do the rinse and repeat, and be consistent and can think outside the box of what's next. So find what you're passionate about, and, ask for help if you need help. So that would be the other thing. Yeah.
And having a good sidekick, right? I love that you and your husband are doing this, and then that your daughters, I think, originally were supporting you in that way. It's unlike me. Like, my brother helped me establish this. My chief of staff is Dr. Cervantes, my mom, right? It's just that the ecosystem of trusted partners that help you grow. Exactly. And so that, I think that,
and find your cheerleaders. I mean, like, I say, I'm a cheerleader for founders, but I have found my cheerleaders.
That's right.
In the ecosystem. So it's people who have benefited and they see the value because they've experienced it, and they definitely, as their company is taking off, they're going to give back. And I think a full circle moment. I've had two full circle moments. One was a startup founder 2 years ago pitched at FIESTA. Sold her company, and then last year was one of our largest sponsors last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then eCook Joy, they pitched at FIESTA 2 years ago, and as she was getting off the stage, she had somebody come up to her and say, I want to use your services. And that validated what she was working on, and now she's one of the companies that's at 100 ARR. And so she was over visiting with me, and she was like, you're making these vegetable trays? Why don't you let us do it? And I'm like, yes, and please. And so for the past two Fiestas, I have not gone out to Costco and Sam's to buy all the vegetables and the fruit and stuff and made the trays. It's being done for me.
And that's the giving back, right? I think
100%.
that it's only a compounding effect because of what you've done. I love that. That's kind of the biggest takeaway from this, is that you do have an opportunity to give back, and you should, because you'll find it'll fill your cup in some way.
Yeah. What's your greatest need right now?
Mine?
For Q Branch.
Man, you're not supposed to ask me that hard question.
That's what I ask everybody. So, because that's the only way I can make my magic happen, is knowing.
My need is I kind of evaluate what are the needs of those that I serve, right? That's where I would lean into it. One, you've done a phenomenal job at being consistent in that way. And that's, I'm actually trying to, I look at you as a model of how can I be consistent? How can we continue to be an ecosystem that serves a specific need, right? We're dual use. It's not just the commercial sector, but there's also this government opportunity for those folks. So I love what you're doing already. There's not a big need for me. I think one is we can collaborate together. Let's just keep the communication going and what each other are working on. Be good partners in that way. I think we're doing it already.
Amazing.
My biggest ask is just to be my partner in this journey. That's
100%.
That's
yeah.
it.
And y'all are going to have co-working spaces here pretty soon.
Yes,
y'all are
we
opening
will.
up in February.
That's
so
exactly right. We're
have
big.
seats to fill.
Yes, we do. And that's the part that, having seen co-working environments, I think that now people want more than just a seat. They want to be a part of a community.
Yeah.
So there's 4 fundamentals of patterns that I've seen, right? One, everybody needs a customer because it's business, right? Everybody needs to be able to show value and provide value. The other is they probably need some capital to get started or, to source in a way. They need company support, right? Whether it be lawyers or just cheerleaders in that way. And then the biggest thing that I learned, I used to just stop there. But now being in this business for 2 years, they need a community. You need to be around like folks, right? To whether either share experiences to not repeat for others or new models to say, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm going to apply that to what we're doing.
Yeah.
But those are the 4 verticals I think that everybody is exploring.
And community is the one thing AI is not going to be able to replace.
No.
So, yeah.
No, it's
and I
still
think
very
it's going to
much.
even be a greater need, as AI becomes more used.
It
people
is.
being in person. Yeah. So
The authenticity is going to be there. It's still very much. I used to say this when I was in the military doing weapons system development. I said, this is still a human business.
exactly.
Nothing is going to change that. And the methodologies that core values is that the operator is the most important person no matter what you're doing. And there's a terminology, but that's the fundamentals that they teach. And that's still very prevalent today. Humans are the most important factor in anything that you do.
I agree. Yeah.
Thank you so much.